Hello, everyone, and happy Ash Wednesday to you. Happy Ash Wednesday? You mean when you smear those ashes on your forehead and talk about dying? From dust you came, to dust you shall return? Yeah, that Ash Wednesday. Happy Ash Wednesday. Because, you know, there is a time in our lives when we need to face up to the fact that we are mortal beings, that we do make mistakes, that we are fallible, and that we all shall return to the dust. But we have a loving God. That's what Ash Wednesday is all about. We have a loving God who will be with us our entire lives through all the crud that we both create and have to wallow through. And we have a God who, in the end, will raise us up with him. Okay, so Ash Wednesday. What kind of a psalm were you going to pick for Ash Wednesday? How about, oh, Psalm 51? Yep, Psalm 51 is the one that's used the most. And here's what you need to do: you need to read the entire Psalm 51 today. You have to. And as you're reading it, you're going to say, boy, that verse sounds kind of familiar. And that one sounds familiar. And that one sounds familiar. For instance, something like, have mercy, O God, according to your steadfast love. Create in me a clean heart, O God. O Lord, open my lips, and my mouth shall declare your praise. You know, there's a bunch of other ones in there too. And a lot of those things have made it into the liturgies of our churches. So it's a great psalm to read. But before we even delve into it just a little bit more, very quickly, there are 13 psalms in the Psalter that have a superscription that's written before you can get into the psalm up above, and that superscription describes an event in the life of King David. And it says, this is a psalm of David when blah, 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 blah. Well, this one happens to say a psalm of David when the prophet Nathan came to him after David had gone into Bathsheba. Do you remember that story? David and Bathsheba? Yeah, it's the one we don't like to teach in Sunday school because it's like, this is a little tough to explain, little kiddos. But David did a bad thing, and he committed adultery with Bathsheba, sent Uriah, her husband, out into battle, withdrew the forces behind him so that he was out there on his own and he got killed. One commentator I read said, hey, David not only broke two commandments, he just wiped out the whole thing. Totally gone. Okay, so we have that as the background. And another thing you need to realize is most scholars today will tell you David probably didn't write a single one of these psalms. You go, wait a minute, but it says right there. No, no, no. These psalms came much later, and there were editors who looked at these psalms and said, hey, this kind of would be pertinent to this part of David's life. Boom, and they popped the superscription on there. They did that 13 different times. And they did an excellent job at it too. Very, very appropriate. I mean, this Psalm 51 deals with our utter failure as human beings, our lives of sinfulness, and all the muck that we drag ourselves through and sometimes get drugged through not willingly. And what are we to do? Where are we going to find help? We're going to find help from our God, our Creator. Now, it's kind of cool how the psalm begins on a high note. What, a high note? Yeah. Have mercy on me, O God, according to your steadfast love. Oh man, there it is again. That word hesed in the Hebrew. Hesed. Steadfast love. According to your abundant mercy. Now, that word mercy is another biggie in the Hebrew language, and it refers to the love that a mom has with her child in the womb. That womb love, pat the big belly there. And that's describing God. That's describing God's love toward us. Amazing love, incredible love, and that hesed, that all-encompassing love that is just enfolds us, and just want to give you a big hug. All right, that starts the psalm out before you even get into the thing about all the different sins, you know, and the beginning verses talk about how, oh man, I have just so messed up, God. I don't know what to do, and man, I messed up so bad. It goes all the way back to before I was born. I mean, it's a very poetic type of way of saying, you know, I'm hopeless. And are we hopeless? Well, we sort of are, except for one thing. That one verse I already made reference to. This is where our hope lies. God, this is what you got to do. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and put a new and right spirit within me. It's God's creative power that's going to bring us salvation. God's creative power, putting a new and clean heart within us. Did you realize that throughout the entire Old Testament, the only time this verb create is used, it has one subject. There's one person behind that creative force. It's always God. Nobody else. Just God. And putting a new and right spirit within me, that's the same word as the spirit that hovered over the waters at creation. See, there's creation all over. It's God who created the whole shebang to begin with, and it's God that can create a new thing within you and me. So think about that today for Ash Wednesday. Yeah, to dust we came, to dust we shall return. But at the same time, there's wonderful news in that God can create a new, beautiful heart within us and give us a spirit of hope, a spirit of love, and a spirit that rests deep within us, that wells up from the inside and makes us brand new. Psalm 51. Read it. Soak it all in. And just live it out on this Ash Wednesday. God's blessings be with you. And if you have a chance to go get some ashes on your forehead somewhere, go ahead and do it. And as one pastor suggested that I read on my little Facebook blog, if you can't get to church, go to the nearest windowsill, rub your finger right above it, and go, from dust you came, and to dust you shall return. God's blessings be with you.